Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Dalet Amud Aleph, 21 lines down. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. And smicha b'chutz la'aretz. There's no smicha for rabbis outside Eretz Yisrael. Mayan smicha. What do you mean no smicha? Ilam lo dani dinei k'sav b'klav b'chutz la'aretz. If you're telling me that there's no such thing as a judge judging penalty cases outside Eretz Yisrael. V'atran Mishnah says Sanhedrin oneged ben ra'aretz b'chutz la'aretz. Sanhedrin can work in and outside Eretz Yisrael. Ela delo samchinan b'chutz la'aretz means that you can't actually do the smicha outside Eretz Yisrael. Now, obviously, Simchin b'chutz haaretz, v'nis mechin ba'aretz, you can bring those who are uh, people who are somech outside Eretz Yisrael after being, and you could bring them into Eretz Yisrael to be somech to get smicha. That's fine. Hadram in the law, el simchin ba'aretz v'nis mechin b'chutz haaretz mai. Right, and we also said that you can't let's say be somech someone from outside Eretz Yisrael into someone in Eretz Yisrael. Someone in America can't be somech someone inside Eretz Yisrael at the time. But what about someone who's in Eretz Yisrael to be somech someone outside Eretz Yisrael? That's what's being proved. Rabbi Yochanan was sad that Rabbi Shimon was not there to give him smicha. Rabbi Shimon Nizerut v'had they man someone else was with Rabbi Shimon. Umanu Rabbi Yochanan ben Achmai, his rabbi. The Amrila Rabbi Yochanan ben Achmai v'hatamed someone was Rabbi Yochanan with someone else. Umanu Rabbi Shimon Nizerut. These two rabbis. Chad have Gabayo smechu. The one that was with him did smicha. The had lo have Gabayo smechu. The other one who was not with him did not do smicha. The proof from here that you have to be in the presence and therefore you can't be someone who's outside your area. Rabbi Yochanan wanted to make Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Shea smicha. Love but it never happened. It never worked out. Rabbi Kami said to he was very upset about this. Rabbi Shea told him, don't be sad. We come from the house of Eli. Eli Cohen was cursed. Damar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman Rabbi Yochanan minayin she'en mesmechin Eli. How do you know that the family of Eli cannot get smicha? Shneimar lo yeh zaken bebeitecha kol yamim. My zaken was mean old mean. Ilam zaken mashim actually old. V'haktiv v'chumar bebeitecha yamutu anashim. We already know that the curse was that the family will die young. There just can't be old people. Elas smicha means that when it says old people, for them, it means as well that they can't make them into Sanhedrin. Rabbi Zera have a mitmar l'smicha. Zera would actually hide from getting smicha. He didn't want it. A person should always stay out of the limelight, and he'll live that way. And you heard Abelazar say that a person, if he wants to get forgiven for his sins, he should get a position of power and greatness. Then he allowed himself to get smicha. When Abzira got smicha, they saying this about him. Lo ka'av, lo sherak, lo perikus, doesn't need makeup for his eyes, for his face, hair dye, always beautiful. He's beautiful midot. He's they saying about it. These two rabbis. May we have more people like this to get smicha. Don't make us sarmitin or samisin as smicha. Not people who will plunder from us, and not people who will people who are bitter. Right? And the first two explanations of sarmitin and sarmisin is referring to people who don't have good logic or people who can't explain themselves well. Okay, Rabbi Abba Lebei Kesar. Rabbi Abba would go from his shul to Bet Midrash to the Caesar. And the people from the Caesar's house would go and sing. Rabbi Da'amah, the prince of his people, he's considered the prince because he's the head Rosh Yeshiva. The leader of the nation. He's like a person, like a candle that's lit. Right? Hanukkah reference. He's very handsome. Berich Matiach Lishlim, may your arrival have like Baruch Haba. Arifat go back to our Mishnah. When we have the measurements of the corpse between the two cities to kill the calf as a forgiveness, you have to judge it with three people. Your Hachamim shall and your judges shall go out. These two words sound like two each. Therefore we have 4 plus 1 because it can't be even according to Bidah. That's fine. Rabbi Shimon says no. The word means two. And you can't have even, therefore it's Hare Khan Shlosh, therefore there's three. Rabbi Shimon Shofetecha Ma'avile, what does he do with the extra word Shofetecha? That Rabbi Da learned the two. Only Baile Lemeo Shofetecha means that you have to have Sanhedrin, not just regular people. Rabbi Da Mizikne Ziknecha Nafka Rabbi says, no, I already learned that. Rabbi Da says, no, I don't need that pasuk to teach me that because I already learned Ziknecha, your Hachamim means has to be special rabbis. Rabbi Shimon, what do you answer that? Im Zikne, if only wrote in Zikne, Halamina Zikne Ashuk. I would have thought even regular judges can judge and measure. The Katab Rahmana Ziknecha, therefore, Ziknecha, your judges, Viktiv Ziknecha, only wrote your judges, Havamina Sanhedrin, maybe even 23 judge Sanhedrin. The Rahmana Shuvitecha, therefore, wrote judges, Hatin Shuvitecha, only the members of the Sanhedrin Hagidlah, the 71 judges can judge, but not the entire one, obviously, only three. He has a grasha between these two pesukim of zikne. Just like over there in the case of smicha, we said it was Sanhedrin only, the main Sanhedrin, the 71 judges, only some judges from there. So to over here, regarding the measurement as well, you need those type of judges. Yalif, we were learning from there. Maybe you should learn all the halachot from there, even the 5 judges is over there. Like Rabbi Dag says, remember it says, so how come I need another 2 pesukim of the 2 words of Zekinecha Shtecha teach you 5? We should learn Zer Shva from there. Remember says, no, Ella, nuance. Vav v'shofetecha l'minyana. The Vav at the beginning of the word v'shofetecha teaches you another Hidush to have 2 more judges. And therefore he says, he must scheme with Rabbi Shimon that shofetecha means Sanhedrin Gedulah, and he learns elsewhere from the Vav to another 2 judges to make it 5. 4, 2 plus 2 plus 1. Rabbi Shimon, Vav Trish. Rabbi Shimon doesn't need the word Vav. He hasn't learned that Vav as a drasha. The Gemara says, Elimeata v'yatzu shnaim u'madu shnaim. We had, according to previously, we said Zekinecha, Shavotecha, 2 judges each. But now we have another couple words. And they shall go out and they shall measure. Sounds like the Rabbi Yehuda have a tisha. That sounds like 9 for Rabbi Yehuda. 2, 4, 6, 8 plus 1. And the Rabbi Shimon Shiva, we added another 4 more for Rabbi Shimon, who said 3, now it should be 7. Whereas the only by like I know those places can teach us something else. The judges themselves have to go out and not a shliach. Do they judge? They should measure. Even if the body is found right outside one city, and therefore you might think, oh, I don't need to measure. I know I could tell that it's closer to my city. You still have to measure. It's not a measure, even though it's obvious. Our Mishnah goes against the following Tanah. The Tanya says, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Meredith says, your judges and rabbis should go out. Zekenecha is referring to Sanhedrin Hagidlah. The king and the Kohen Gadol has to go out as well. The judge, the king shall establish justice. So, Ibrahim asked the question, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, does Yaakov disagree with 1 or 2 of them? Meaning, the Melech the Kohen Gadol believe does he disagree only regarding the Kohen and the king? And our Mishnah says no. Maybe he agrees that with Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Shimon that you need 5 or 3 judges. Maybe he disagrees even regarding the amount of judges. Maybe he says you need the entire 71 Sanhedrin. So until now we said Rabbi Shimon or Rabbi Yehuda say either 3 or 5 judges that have to come from the 71 judge panel. But maybe he first of all says that you need the king, judge, to the king, Kohen Gadol, and maybe also possibly the entire Sanhedrin instead of 5 or 3. The Gemara says, Amar Rabbi says, Tashma bringing proof. If you found the rabbi who says the wrong halacha, he goes against Betin. So if he's found right outside the Bet Pagi, which is right outside the area right outside of Yerushalayim, maybe you might think that if he rebels against Betin and says the halacha against them, usually it's a chayav mita inside Sanhedrin. He has to go against Sanhedrin. Maybe if he's right outside as well, maybe he should be chayav. He has to arise to that place. It has to be in Sanhedrin that he has to be coming in order to rebel against him. So if he's outside Betin, it doesn't count. Then how many judges have to leave to go to that case? Only some of the judges can go out. Maybe the judges who are inside will actually hold like the Chacham, right? This rabbi who's going against at Bedin, he's obviously saying, I don't agree with Bedin. I say A, and Bedin has to disagree with him in order for him to chanita if he ignores them. Now, if you're only sending partially out of Bedin to go meet this rabbi, this guy outside, then maybe it's not a stira. Maybe he's not going against them. Maybe the other rabbis behind will agree with him. So it must be Ella, Pshita, Nafikul, must be they all left. Why would they all leave? If it's about a regular nonsensical topic, they can't just leave for that. You have to have at least 23 judges in Beddin Hagadol at all times. So how can it all leave? The Gemara says, "Ella b'shita davar must be a mitzvah." Hey, how would they have a mitzvah that they all leave? Must be talking about a case where they had to measure the calf, the city, the corpse for the calf, and it's a proof from here that that you need the entire Sanhedrin to leave. Gemara says, "No, we have other halachot to teach you that the Sanhedrin has to go. You need the entire Sanhedrin to go see. For example, adding land to the Yerushalayim or adding land to the Bet Hamikdash. You need 71 judges for those cases. This is the amount of case that this could be the case where they left. Proof if the Tamil Chacham who's rebelling against Sanhedrin was found at Beit. And how do they find him? If they either went to measure for the corpse or they wanted to add to Yerushalayim or Bet Hamikdash, maybe that would be considered a rebellion. No, because he has to ignore them in Sanhedrin. Next part of the Mishnah. The fourth year fruits, the Maaser Shani, that you don't know the price, needed to be appraised by Bedin of 3, right? So that means if you have the fourth year fruits to eat in Yerushalayim or Maaser Shani or Maaser for the second year, that you have to bring to Yerushalayim to eat there, or you could sell it and then use the funds there instead. It says that you need 3 judges to appraise that value. What type of example is fruits? They don't know the value. Versus fruits that rotten, wine that became sour, or coins that became rusty. Sounds like regular stuff you can easily get appraisal. That you don't know the value. You can redeem it at those that will be appraised by 3 merchants. But you can't do appraisal by people who are not merchants. Even if you have a goy with them. And even if one of them is the goy sorry, the merchants can have a goy, and one of the merchants could even be the owner. Mara says, what if you have 3 merchants that are partners? Can they appraise it? Mara says, bring a proof. A man with his 2 wives can be redeemed Maaser Shani, and a man with his wives, they share the same parnasa. Sounds like that you can use partners. The Mara says, no. Maybe it's according to like the case of Papa and his wife, the daughter of Abba Sura'ah, who did not share money with him, and therefore it's not a proof. Right? No proof that partners can do the appraisal. Next part, items that became Hekdesh with 3 judges. Mastin looking at an proof. Mishnah opposite against this. The tiny bit says, if you want to redeem item that was in Hekdesh, even something as small as like a needle used for sewing, you need 10 people to redeem it. Makes sense according to the Shmuel. Shmuel says, 10 Kohanim, the Kohanim are mentioned 10 times throughout these Pesukim of Hekdesh, and therefore you need 10 people. Where we learn from our Mishnah that 3 is good enough. Where it says, maybe because you might think that it says 3 regarding the Kohanim written in regarding the Hekdesh, but the problem is, don't cap it because it says 3 by movable objects, because land says 4. And we know land needs 10. So how would that make sense? The Gemara says, maybe you only need 4 for land. Our Mishnah says, 10 people, 9 plus 1 coin. So why would land need 10? Because the 4 mentionings of the word Kohen bring it to 10. That's the case. Then by Hekdesh objects, there's 6, not 3. So why you shouldn't have 3? Okay, if you want to say land has 10 mentionings, therefore it's 10, fine. But the problem is movable objects has 3. And therefore Hekdesh items should have 6. Sorry, hekdesh items have 6, and therefore it should be 6 judges, not 3. Kasha, good question. Ha'arechin, evaluations. As a person tells about himself or something else, the value should be hekdesh. He has to pay that value to redeem it. My erechin tatlin. What is an erech valuation of an object? Usually, it's only a person or land. Person says this watch should be an erech valuation, and therefore, but technically should not work. However, whoever does say this item should have erech and I should pay that value, nothing about me gives the value. My time, why? Because why? Even though generally the person knows there's no such thing as erechin, evaluation on an item rather than a person. Therefore, he says it because he wants to give the value of it. He wants to give the value of his watch, for example. Therefore, he gives that price. Where it says hi erechin, that's not the evaluation. Evaluations that are objects. That's the evaluations of movable objects. It's not the evaluations that are movable. It's an object. It says Tani erechin shematlin. We fixed the Mishnah. I said, okay, fine. That's what the Mishnah meant to say. It's not a case where someone donates and he pledges a certain object to fulfill his erech vow, right? He has a vow that he wants to do and he wants to pay an item instead of it. That's the case. The valuation is appraised by that 3 judges. It's not the erechin mitatlin. Mitatlin should have said mitatlin of erechin, of a vow. Objects of a vow. The Gemara says Tana mitatlin erechin. Okay, fix it. Says in the next nation. A person says, I take myself as an erech, he wants to give the value of himself. If a Kohen comes to take an object as payment, you need to reveal. Kakol Basra and land has 10 people. It makes sense to extract an item from Hekdesh. You want to buy something from Hekdesh to make a non-Hekdesh, to redeem it? That makes sense why you need 3. Why need to, because you don't want to take something that's overvalued and pay less, and therefore you won't extract it correctly. But to put something into the Bet HaMikdash, why need 3? We shouldn't be worried as much. The Gemara says no. It's logical. There's no difference. If something's going in or out of Hekdesh, you need a good evaluation. Why do you have to remove it with an appraiser? Because you might make a mistake. So too, the reason why we have to put it inside is because a person can make a mistake. Next part of Mishnah, Yudam says one of the praisers have to be a Kohen. That makes sense. That's why he mentions Kohen. But according to Rabbanan, who does not say you need a Kohen, how come it says Kohen? Kasha, it's a good question. Next, the land has to have 9 plus Kohen. How do we know that? 10 Kohanim in the parasha of Hekdesh. 1 to mention the pasuk itself, and the rest of the 9 is an exclusion after exclusion. Right? We have this concept. When you have exclusionary words one after another, it ends up including. To teach you that even if 9 regular Jews and 1 Kohen is good enough. If every other term is excluding and 1 is including, it shouldn't be 9 regular plus 1 Kohen. It should actually be 5 Kohen, even 5 Jews. 5 included, 5 excluded. Kasha. Good question.